Welcome back, YouTube family. Back with another video. Today's title is Top 20 Conspiracy Theories of All Time from the YouTube channel watchmojo.com. Now, if you're not familiar with watchmojo, they do all kinds of videos ranging from anything pop culture, really, from movies to conspiracy theories. Now, conspiracy theories are interesting, to say the least. You know, there's some conspiracy theories that are true, that end up being true. There's some conspiracy theories that are just all the way out there that it's just interesting to hear. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we do that, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe, or hit that post notification bell so you can stay up to date with the channel and the videos that are on the channel. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this.
I'm sure many people wanted him dead. He had a lot of information on a lot of people, a lot of blackmail, videos and pictures.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 conspiracy theories of all time.
Because I don't believe in the COVID. I don't believe it's real.
For this list, we'll be looking at the conspiracy theories that loom largest in popular culture and the public imagination, whether thanks to their popularity or improbability. Did we leave any out? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, National Hidden Treasure.
She had a Canadian accent. I don't know if you heard that or caught that. She said, "Let us know if we left anything out." Interesting. I didn't know they were from Canada. I thought they were from the United States. Oh well. Let's go ahead and continue. Sorry.
It's a very poorly kept secret that there's a hidden room behind Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. It's actually true. This has led some to theorize that it houses proof of alien life or treasure. The intent behind the area is anything but sinister, though.
Believe me, I know.
The original sculptor of the monument, Gutzon Borglum, wanted to...
National Treasure is a national treasure. That's a good movie. The first one's a good one. Still haven't watched the second one. I'll probably watch that. Actually, maybe later on tonight. I don't know. But such a good movie. Nicolas Cage, one of the few roles that he killed it in. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
It's something he called the Hall of Records to house the recorded history of the United States for generations to come. Although Borglum only finished a tunnel during his lifetime, his daughter collaborated with the Mount Rushmore Society to build a vault with a visual history of the US told through 16 porcelain enamel panels. It's sealed off and not open to the public. Number 19, Illuminati at the Denver Airport. The design of the Denver International Airport is certainly unique and a bit, well, strange.
Exactly. Have you heard about the horse?
We're talking about a blue horse with glowing red eyes, intense murals, and a gargoyle that greets guests.
Hey, I'm talking to you. Can I borrow some pants?
Oh, and did we mention a time capsule with a Freemason symbol on the granite seal? Conspiracy theorists argue that the Freemasons have ties to the Illuminati and a new world order. The new airport was dedicated in 1994, and rumors persist to this day about how the area isn't only a hub for
Here's a crazy movie idea. She said time capsule, and I just started thinking. But think about this: a movie that a class or a business, I don't know. Well, the logistics don't matter, but the concept of the movie does. Basically, when they open up the time capsule, it's not from the past, it's from the future. No? Okay. Yeah, I'll just have Chat GPT write me a script and I'll make it. But, I mean, I don't know. I just thought of that instantly. But, anyway, let's continue the video.
And travel, but for the Illuminati and other secret organizations. Number 18, Shakespeare didn't write all his plays.
Could it be true that the greatest writer in the English language was as fictional as his plays?
Did the most famous
Ooh.
playwright of all time even exist? Well, yes, he did. But according to this theory, he didn't write his plays. At least, not all of them. Some people claim that William Shakespeare was just a pen name used by various different writers.
I want to thank my actors. It's great acting has brought my words to life.
Then there are others who hold to the Oxfordian theory of Shakespeare authorship, which claims that the 17th Earl of Oxford, Edward de Vere, actually wrote the bard's work.
Promise me you'll keep our secret safe, that you won't expose Shakespeare.
These alternative authorship theories have gained some traction due to the lack of biographical information about Shakespeare's life, but are generally disregarded by English historians.
Being able to have something to always protect myself with this Byrna allows me to have that peace of mind no matter.
Number 17, Lost Cosmonauts.
Are you from another planet? It's Gagarin. Gagarin went into space.
Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin was the first human to journey to outer space. Or was he? According to the Lost or Phantom Cosmonauts conspiracy theory, Gagarin was the first human to survive the journey, but
Now that they mentioned cosmonaut, there's this TV show on Apple TV Plus. It's called For All Mankind. Man, oh man, it is a great TV show. Apple TV has hit after hit after hit. Every single TV show or movie that I've watched, some great stuff on there. That one, For All Mankind, The Morning Show. Oh my God, that's such a good one. Let's see what else. Dark Matter. Yeah, that one's pretty good too. Let's see here. Oh, The Last Thing He Told Me. That one you will binge watch. I think there's only 6 or 8 episodes. I can't remember. You will binge watch. I remember I stayed up one night till one morning rather, till like 5, 6 a.m. I just couldn't stop watching it. That's how good it was. Let's see what else. What else is there? But yeah, no, getting sidetracked here. But yes, go check out Apple TV Plus. Some of the greatest storytelling. Apple has really done a good job with their platform. But yeah, let's continue the video.
was not the first sent to space.
Rumors of lost cosmonauts have been around since at least 1965.
Allegedly, the Soviet Union launched at least 2 unsuccessful manned space flights before Gagarin's. However, any information about these flights was concealed from the public because of the ongoing Cold War. Although most of the state's formerly restricted information has become available since the collapse of the USSR, there has been little uncovered to support this particular theory.
While the lost cosmonaut theory itself may not hold up to scrutiny, one thing's for sure: when it comes to Soviet Russia, there's plenty of stuff they don't want you to know.
Number 16, Paul is dead. If you're a diehard fan of the Beatles, then you're probably quite familiar with this conspiracy theory, that Beatles bassist Paul McCartney is actually dead and was replaced in the band with a double.
According to the story, Paul McCartney died on November 9th, 1966, after his car skidded off an icy road. According to the theory, the Beatles replaced him with an imposter, a look-alike named Billy Shears.
Those who believe this theory often claim that the Beatles hid subliminal and backmasked messages in their songs as proof. In songs like Strawberry Fields Forever, there's a line where John Lennon supposedly says, "I buried Paul." Then there's Revolution 9, a song from the band's White Album that, when played backwards, is supposed to say, "Turn me on, dead man." Is it there? Maybe. But spoiler alert.
Maybe they're just referencing The Undertaker. I don't know. I mean, if they were to do something that crazy, it'd be one of the biggest. They would be able to pull off one of the biggest covers of all time. But then again, at that time, there was really no technology, so, you know, they could have got away with it. But anyway, let's continue.
McCartney is very much alive.
I think you've been doing this for longer, than I've even been alive, and you've been doing it so incredibly well. And the fact that you're still here today, in 2013.
Number 15, HIV/AIDS created by the CIA. It's human nature to look for someone to blame.
I mean, that is possible. I mean, if you look at, don't label me a conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot more factual evidence that supports the claim that C19 was created in a lab by Dr. Fauci and a couple of other scientists. Well, not him specifically, but he was funding gain of function research, which, if you don't know what that word means that they basically paid for experimentation with viruses, mixing viruses together, seeing how it would react with animals, and they can draw a conclusion to how it would react to humans. Basically, HIV or AIDS is pretty crazy to say that was created by the government, but especially with all the facts that have been coming out lately about excuse me, about C19. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, to say the least. But yeah, let's continue.
In horrible situations. The HIV/AIDS crisis was just one of those moments in American history.
Some nurses feared this unknown, unnamed disease so much they wouldn't even go near someone with AIDS. The fear was pervasive.
Conspiracy theories persisted that the CIA invented the virus intentionally to attack homosexual and African American communities. Although this wasn't true, it does possess links to a real disinformation campaign propagated by the Soviet Union in the 1980s, known as Operation Infection. The intention was to implicate the United States as purveyors of biowarfare by claiming they'd developed HIV/AIDS in Fort Detrick, Maryland.
It's a crazy allegation printed in a small newspaper. No big deal, right? But fast forward just a couple of years and look what's happening. The story is spreading.
Today, Operation Infection is seen largely as a way to deflect similar accusations against the USSR over their own biowarfare operations. Number 14, Satanic Panic. In the 1980s, a moral panic swept through the US, spread by now discredited psychological practices and false accusations.
There were terrifying tales of secret satanic cults bent on tormenting and corrupting the young.
Many people became convinced that Satan worshippers were all around them, practicing ritual abuse on hapless victims. A lot of the hysteria came from conservative religious reactions to the popularity of heavy metal music and role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. The panic led to numerous accusations of ritual abuse in daycare centers, culminating in the infamous McMartin preschool trial.
There's never been any proof that there was any kind of satanic ritual abuse or satanic cult activity in a daycare center.
When I first got involved in these cases, I'll be very honest with you, I tended to believe that this was going on. But eventually, the number of cases just kept growing.
Today, it lives on in new forms, such as the far-right QAnon movement, which targets celebrities and Democrats instead.
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
When you buy music gear from Sweetwater, you get more than just what's in the box. A whole lot more.
Number 13, James Earl Ray was framed. The death of civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. was a devastating loss that left many questions unanswered. On April 4th, 1968, he was assassinated in a Memphis motel, purportedly by James Earl Ray. However, Ray's motivations have always remained hazy.
Now, there are mixed reports about his motivations. James Earl Ray was certainly a super racist, but it looks like greed may have also played a factor. Now, Ray was under the impression that he was going to be able to collect bounties from a cabal of rich Southerners for killing Dr. King.
This has led to theories that someone else was involved, for example, the FBI, who were running a smear campaign against King.
I mean, come on now, the FBI? Well, I mean, even in recent times, we saw them, I don't want to say them because, but if you look at some of the facts around the JFK assassination, with Project Northwood, things like that, which, by the way, Project Northwood is actually a unclassified document by the CIA. I won't say anything. Maybe we'll react to a video, but pretty crazy what the CIA was going to do to Americans to incite a war against Cuba and Russia. And JFK said, no, that's potentially what got him killed. We don't know. That's just, we don't know. And, obviously today with Donald Trump, with how sketched it was from the beginning and how it's still an ongoing investigation, how there was not enough security, how nobody was posted on top of the building, all that stuff, all that crazy stuff. So, let's go ahead and continue. All I will say is this: I will not be surprised if we ever find out that Dr. Martin Luther King was murdered by the FBI or CIA.
Recanted his confession, leading some to question whether he was even the shooter at all, including King's family. Given the number of enemies King had, we may never know the truth for sure.
Well, I don't know if there's any penalty for extraditing someone fraudulently or not, but I think I can see their legal point where they've got to stick with their story.
Number 12, water fluoridation for mind control.
Guys, how do my teeth look? Pretty good? Okay, great. Fluoride in the water might be helping that, but it might also be doing other things.
Fluoride helps make human teeth stronger, but some people believe that the government is putting fluoride in drinking water for another reason, to sap away our mental strength and control the population.
The Telegraph points out a epidemiological study that was done there. They say fluoride in drinking water may trigger depression and weight gain.
In the 1940s, many conspiracy theorists became convinced that fluoride was part of a communist plot to take over America. Proponents have since claimed that the Nazis used fluoride to pacify people in concentration camps during World War II. While a minority of scientists do oppose water fluoridation, it isn't based on any of these wild claims, which lack any evidence.
Countries and states are going to continue being on board with fluoridation until someone finds damning evidence that they shouldn't be, which in 70 years, no one has yet found.
Number 11, Zionist occupation government conspiracy theory. The idea that a Jewish cabal runs the world goes all the way back to a fabricated document, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which outlined a fake plan for global domination. It was a hoax, but anti-Semitism has kept the idea alive. The theory achieved new popularity in the mid-90s, in part thanks to the efforts of the area.
I do want to make a comment, and I don't know how people are going to take it, but remember when Kanye was talking about Jews and, what he was saying about Jews or whatever? Mostly everybody that I saw on Twitter called him anti-Semitic, that he was basically a racist against Jews, blah, blah, blah. But half or to 75% of those people that said that about Kanye are now anti-Semitic whenever they say they are in favor of Palestine. Now, it's just, I don't know, to me it's crazy how they can just switch up like that, What do you believe? What do you believe? Anyway, let's continue.
Nations, a white supremacist group from Idaho.
The hate first blossomed in 1974 when Richard Butler moved to Hayden and established the Aryan Nations World Headquarters. For decades, Butler shared his dream of a white-only homeland with recruits who came to his 20-acre compound.
It comes in many forms, from claiming that Jewish people run the entertainment industry to denying the horrors of World War II. It's a strange but tragically true glimpse into
Hold on, guys. I'm going to pause that video real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Thought I felt an earthquake. Oh, there it goes again. I don't know if I'm going crazy. Anyway, if it was an earthquake, oh well. Anyway, let's continue.
Darkest recesses of the human mind. Number 10, advance warning of Pearl Harbor. The US government has been the target of several conspiracy theories throughout its history, with one of the biggest revolving around Pearl Harbor.
FDR certainly did have a motivation to deliberately withhold vital intelligence from Pearl Harbor.
This theory suggests that Franklin D. Roosevelt knew about the planned Japanese attack in December 1941, but decided not to act because he needed an excuse to get the Americans into the Second World War.
To overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
The theory gained some traction because the American public and Congress were overwhelmingly against joining the conflict at the time.
Again, against. I heard in their Canadian accent.
It has largely been dismissed by historians.
Everyone who worked on it at the time has said then and since that we simply were not far enough along to read any of these Japanese naval messages for intelligence.
Number 9, the Earth is flat. The world is of course round, something that even the ancient Greeks figured out. There's plenty of proof. Commercial airline flights, time zones, images from space, and so many more. However, a small but vocal minority of people still believe the Earth is...
I personally don't believe that the Earth is flat, but you can't use flight patterns as as evidence to prove that the Earth is round, because I will say this: the flight paths are kind of sus. I ain't gonna lie, they are kind of sus. You know, they are kind of sus. That's all I'm gonna say. If you don't know, research. It'll make you question. But I don't believe that the Earth is flat. Just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's continue.
Spreading their ideas on social media platforms.
My reality, my senses tell me that the Earth is flat and stationary.
While the Flat Earth Society has flourished online, its first iteration was founded back in 1956 by Samuel Shenton, a sign writer who created his own cosmology, partly based on the Bible. Today, some proponents even argue that Australia doesn't exist. We guess Hugh Jackman really is one hell of an actor. Number 8, the stolen election.
Hugh Jackman, Deadpool, and Wolverine. Go check it out in theaters. No, it's not a paid promotion, but I like that movie so much that I'm gonna watch it again, and I think you should go watch it if you plan on watching it and you hadn't decided yet. Go watch it. It's a good movie. Marvel's back, baby. Let's go ahead and continue.
After Joe Biden won the 2020 US election, Donald Trump and allies campaigned to overturn the results.
As everybody saw, we won by historic numbers, and the pollsters got it knowingly wrong. They got it knowingly wrong. We had polls that
knowingly wrong.
Ridiculous, and everybody knew it at the time.
Alleging widespread fraud, Trump claimed that Biden was staging a coup. His legal team filed dozens of lawsuits, which were dismissed, and claimed that voting machines had been rigged, an accusation contradicted by hand recounts. Some of Trump's allies even recommended that he suspend the Constitution and declare martial law. QAnon fueled the fires, arguing that the deep state was backing Biden, but that Trump would be inaugurated in March 2021.
The movement now leaping from echo chambers of social media to headlines in the news.
The campaign culminated in the 2021 United States Capitol attack, when rioters stormed the Capitol, leaving 5 dead. It was a dark lesson in how deadly disinformation can be.
5 dead. I mean, I thought there was only one person that died. Anyway, there's a whole lot of questionable things about that day also. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying a lot of stuff is questionable about that day as well. Like, were they allowed to just freely walk in? Who knows?
Number 7. Adolf Hitler escaped to Argentina.
It became pretty obvious that the death in the bunker was nothing but, well, fiction. Or maybe somebody died in the bunker, but it wasn't Adolf Hitler.
A number of conspiracies famous figures in history, and Adolf Hitler is no different. With the Allies closing in and the war all but over, Hitler took his own life in his bunker with his wife Eva Braun. British authors Simon Dunstan and Gerard Williams have a different theory about Hitler's end, however. They believe that the Führer didn't actually kill himself, but rather escaped to Argentina with Eva, and body doubles were shot instead.
Prevarrò, perché era un recién neolaureado in storia, de investigar bonariamente la muerte de.
According to their book, Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, the married couple settled down and had 2 daughters in South America before dying in 1962.
This was during 1947.
Estuvo Hitler ahí, sí. Tuvo 3 días. Eso yo sí. Eso yo porque vimos los choferes y todo. El padre Mónica también, pero nosotros tenemos que callarlo la boca.
This idea has been widely dismissed by historians, who claim that the theory has no substance.
We got to the age of information when the truth should be out there, so
but wasn't there a lot of evidence and a lot of actual facts that a bunch of Germans went over to Argentina after World War II? So that way they wouldn't face prosecution by the United States? I mean, if that happened, if that was a factual event, I think I even heard one time that there is a town in Argentina that only speaks German because of how many people came there from Germany after World War II. I mean, who's to say Hitler didn't survive or used the body double and went to Argentina? I mean, there's really no evidence of that, especially the way that they handled the corpse of Adolf Hitler, which is pretty remarkable in itself. It's very interesting as well. You might have to check that out. I don't know if they'll reference that in here, but yeah, let's continue.
That's what we're trying to do.
Number 6, Roswell and Area 51. Many of us are anxious for more information about life beyond the stars, and some conspiracy theories think we can find answers in the Roswell incident and U.S. Air Force Base Area 51. They believe that an actual flying saucer crash-landed in Roswell, New Mexico back in 1947, and not a surveillance balloon as the U.S. Army claims.
Right away, rumors spread that alien bodies had been found in the spacecraft.
Well, Roswell is really the ground zero of the UFO phenomenon.
There's also a widespread belief that Area 51 holds the remains of the crashed aliens as well as alien tech. The theories have gotten traction in part thanks to the fact that Area 51 is a highly classified Air Force facility, with the testing, training, and development that occurs inside kept secret from the public.
50 years after the incident, the Air Force released a report admitting that the wreckage was part of a secret system of atomic espionage. But for real believers, this is just another cover-up.
Number 5,
yeah. As far as the Area 51 stuff goes, who knows what they're hiding behind those gates? All I will say is this: Bob Lazar, go look him up. There's a documentary by, what's that guy's name? Corball. Something like Corball. Anyway, very compelling documentary that suggests that there's a guy that was named Bob Lazar who worked at Area 51, or I forgot what the base was actually called. But just so much compelling evidence that everything he said was accurate. He knew where to be during a test flight for the UFO. I mean, there is a lot of compelling evidence that suggests that they actually might have been hiding stuff like that at Area 51. But who knows?
Are lizard people, also known as reptilians.
In simple terms, there is a predator race which take a reptilian form.
They're feeding off humanity. They've turned humanity into a slave race.
Who runs the world? Lizards. At least according to English former footballer and sports broadcaster David Icke. After he visited a psychic, he decided that he was the son of the Godhead, predicted natural disasters that never happened, dove headfirst into anti-Semitic conspiracies, and most famously, proclaimed that the world was being run by shape-shifting lizards.
I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world. I've been to more than 40 countries researching this. Who have told me the
Bro
same.
looks like a lizard himself. Look at his eyes. Don't they look creepy? He looked like a lizard himself.
Recurring story of seeing people, often in positions of power, but not always, change from a human into a reptilian form and then go back again. Sometimes it's for a few seconds.
Many of these reptiles are supposedly people in positions of power, including the entire royal family. They are 7 to 12 feet tall and come from a different planet. Number 4, global warming is a hoax.
It's a statistical anomaly. It's meaningless, and they
Alex
actually admit
Jones. Oh my goodness, this guy. I will say he is off his rocker, but some of the stuff that he predicts actually comes true. I'm not saying I agree with the guy, but anything he says is pretty interesting because, you know, the way he says it, he's like, I'm not kidding, folks. Justin, if you eat Lucky Charms, you might be gay. I'm not kidding, folks. That's pretty funny. But he does say some weird stuff like that, but some of the stuff makes you think, and he's been right about several things as well, so.
in previous NASA press releases, but they're not announcing that today.
A scientific consensus around climate change began to form back in the 1980s, in part thanks to discoveries by researchers working for fossil fuel companies. Since then, fossil fuel companies have spent billions of dollars on climate-related lobbying and have been accused by activists of manufacturing doubt about scientific research.
The problem is this thin layer of atmosphere is being thickened by all of the global warming pollution that's being put up there.
Today, the scientific consensus that human activities are warming the climate is greater than 99%, but that hasn't stopped conspiracy theorists from arguing that it's all a trick, one that involves basically all the world's climate scientists playing along.
According to climate change skeptic Myra Nabel, global warming is a hoax created by the European Union to damage the U.S. economy.
The theory takes various forms, with some arguing that it's a liberal plot to introduce socialism, others that it's linked to a bid for global dominance, and others that China is behind it all.
Are you driving way less than you used to? Do you have a clean driving record? Are you over 25?
Number 3, the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The murder of the 35th U.S. president by former Marine Lee Harvey Oswald in 1963 shocked the nation and left imaginations running wild. Even today, questions continue to linger. Did Lee Harvey Oswald act alone?
Why won't they release the files? It's been, what, since 1963? Which is that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60? 61 years. And they still haven't released the JFK files. Obviously something is in there that they don't want us to know, because they would have already released it. If it was just Lee Harvey Oswald that committed those crimes alone. But they haven't. And it makes you think, what happened that day? Although, I know I ramble a lot, but there is a TV show. So good. It's on Hulu. It's 11/22/63. So good. The plot is basically that there's this man who discovers that there is a wormhole, time machine, whatever, in the closet of a diner, and the whole plot is him to go back in time and save JFK from ever getting shot. Ends up creating a dystopian future. Great movie. Check that out if you can, or if you want to, because I can't tell you what to do, but I can recommend that it is a good movie.
Another shooter? Did someone put him up to it? Why did nightclub owner Jack Ruby kill Oswald while he was in police custody?
When Jack Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald, there went our ability to question the one man who pulled the trigger.
What were Ruby's connections to organized crime? These questions and more have obsessed historians, true crime buffs, and ordinary citizens alike. And if there was a conspiracy involved, we may never know.
We do know this. That day marked the end of an era. The end, as a grieving Mrs. Kennedy suggested, of Camelot.
Number 2, the moon landing was faked. It seems too strange for words, but the theories are there. Did the United States fake its famed moon landing back in 1969? Some people think so.
And you hear about the fact that the landing was actually done in a television studio.
And it was the big black background with, like, fake stars and stuff. It's the flag being planted on the moon facing one way and the shadow of the man being the other way.
I've heard that maybe the terrain that was seen on the video wasn't accurate, walking wasn't accurate.
To the point where such ideas were dramatized in the 1978 thriller Capricorn 1, as well as the 2015 comedy Moonwalkers. The latter expands upon a unique theory that famed director Stanley Kubrick was hired to film the footage that would eventually be part of the Apollo mission. This idea is thought to have been tied to Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey and its groundbreaking special effects. Of course, this is all despite rock-solid evidence to the contrary, including astronaut tracks and American flags still planted on the moon's surface.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, the New World Order.
NASA is attempting to implement a new world order, using organized religion as a means of controlling the masses.
Although that's not a conspiracy theory, because the Book of Revelations does not quote-unquote quote it, but they do allude to everything is controlled by the Antichrist. So take what you want from that. That's all I'm going to say about that. But New World Order is an interesting topic as well. I mean, they're all interesting, obviously.
Project Bluebeam is the establishment of a global New Age religion.
In a sense, it's a soothing thought, because it makes everything so simple. A complicated world full of rival factions with different interests is really run by just one cabal who's behind them all.
This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order.
The New World Order idea looks like a theory of everything, stitching together various theories into one all-encompassing framework. But at its heart is the idea that a small circle of powerful elites are pulling all the strings, aiming to establish a totalitarian world government.
Large groups of people can be held in check by belief systems given to them by a tiny elite, which keeps the core of knowledge to itself.
It's a neat way to explain real trends today, such as mass surveillance, income inequality, and a global shift away from democracy.
Who stands above the military, royalty, and above celebrities? They do. Who directs the press, the Fed, and the universities? They do.
Naturally, the Illuminati and/or the Freemasons are involved, probably flying back and forth out of Denver Airport.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo.
Well, pretty interesting to say the least. Oh, top 10 questions we have after Deadpool and Wolverine. That might be a next one. That might be a next one, actually. Hold on. But yeah, I mean, conspiracy theories are always fun. They're always fun. You can never take them too serious. Except ones that have a lot of facts backed up behind it. Like ones that I mentioned earlier. I won't say it again. But yeah, so if you like this video, be sure to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that we can stay up to date with the channel. Anyway, that's been it. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.